Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. I'm Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. On the show today, I guess the buy the dip market continues. We're going to talk about that trend. It just never seems to end. Best Buy had a rather interesting reversal yesterday. I guess that's what happens when your CEO goes on a conference call and says that amazing comps are not the new normal. We're going to talk about some biotechs moving on good news, biotechs moving on bad news, and we'll take your questions in the chat. Our guest today will be at 8:35. It's Kenny Glick. He's the founder of HitTheBid.com and Hit the Bid Radio. Joel, how are we doing in the markets?
Well, we were doing a lot better, Spencer. At one point, we went up to 24.54 1/4, and that's a familiar level. That's your 3 and 5 day highs, Friday's high, weekly high, all up in that area. So there's your major resistance. On the downside, made that pre-market low early in the session at 45 1/4. It's currently being protected here as we're up by 75 cents. So keep an eye under that. Under the close, under that pre-market low, things open up into 2438.75. Crude just hanging out here at the $46 level, down 33 cents. Not really affected that much by the storm, but the trading range continues here in crude oil futures. And gold and silver, after a great 2-day run, giving a little back today. Gold down $4 at $13.1490, and silver down 6 cents at 17.45. Dennis, I want to bring you in here. I know you've had a rough couple days, not in the markets. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it's bad luck there, and obviously I'm from Windsor, Ontario. That's where my house is. I'm actually up at my cottage though right now, and I'm going to post a link here in the chat for everybody to look at. Not only flooding in Houston, there's major flooding in Windsor, Ontario, and I actually survived the last flood. They had one last year. They called it a once-in-a-100-year flood. While it came back the second year in a row, and I did not survive this one. I have an inch of water in my basement and across my entire basement. I'm still trying to figure this out because my parents are there right now trying to help out and rip out some carpets and fix it because I'm 5 hours away at my cottage. So probably be traveling down there this weekend to fix up a flooded basement, but not a lot of fun. So well, that's kind of been.
Let me know. I can send Spencer over there.
Spencer, you fix basements
with the bucket, and he can do some bailing.
I know how to bail.
I think my parents got it pretty good. Like we got a little bit better, but check out these pictures here. There was so what happened was we got basically about 6 inches of rainfall in the matter of just over an hour. Wow, way too much, too fast. So if you look here, and I've posted a couple. I'll post another link here as well. There's actually a mall, Central Mall in Windsor, that's closed down, just completely flooded. There is multiple roads that obviously as of this morning is probably a lot better. This was as of yesterday afternoon. I'd imagine most of them are clearing up here now because the rain came and the rain stopped now, but just too much rain too fast. And, not only, this is the second year in a row that a lot of flooded basements happen in our area. I think there was over 1,000 flooded basements from just in Tecumseh, which is just a suburb of Windsor there last year. And, now same thing again. So, I don't know, that's headaches. And so when you're not at your house, it's even worse.
All right. Buy the dip, Dennis. I mean, it did not give you much of a chance off that opening bell. Mid-range on the session held, and then it was just straight up the entire day. Any comments on that? Then I'll tell you what the driver was in that rally.
What was the driver?
Apple, new all-time high yesterday.
It took off. You know what? There was so many stocks that opened at their absolute low, and Apple was one of them. If you go and look at the charts from yesterday, that opened right up at the low. It was up 50, 60 cents in a matter of like seconds, really. So if you were coming in there and saying this is just a BTFD opportunity, we don't say the F on the show, but that's what everybody jokes around on Twitter. It's BTFD keeps winning. I mean, it does. It's unbelievable how resilient the S&Ps and how resilient the overall market is. I mean, there is definitely sectors that, you don't want to be BTFDing in, But I'll tell you, stocks like Apple and that, every time they pull back a little bit, there's buyers that come in. And, I guess, they were saying that was just a response to South Korea. They're finding different reasons. The media always finds reasons to justify the rally. Bottom line is just people just buy the dips. They know that they've been rewarded that way for the last 7 or 8 years since the financial crisis. Every time they've bought a dip, they've been rewarded. We've talked about this on the show for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, it just continues. It is so hard to short this market. Lots of things to worry about. The overall S&P doesn't seem to care.
Do you fair value? Do you play Apple off the open, or is that just one that just too high?
Yeah, no, I would, yes.
Okay.
But let's talk about the open. Did it really open below fair value? Okay, we opened down $1.30, so you could say yes, but Qs were opening down pretty significantly too. So, on a $160 stock, open down $1.30, $1.35. You're talking about 0.8%. Well, Qs are down 0.8%, so it's kind of in line.
You didn't get it.
So I wouldn't put Apple with the S&P. I'd put Apple with the Qs because it's more of a tech stock. So, if I'm trading it against, and even looking this morning here, you can see how easily, these move together. I haven't looked at it this morning, but Qs are up 0.22, Apple's up 0.4%. I mean, there's a definite, high correlation between Apple and the Qs. Its beta is a little bit higher, like I was saying yesterday on the show right now. So it's not surprising that you see a little more whipsaw action in it. Historically, its beta is pretty close to the Qs, but as of lately, it's been a little bit more of a wild child moving along with some of the other momos. But yeah, I play the fair value on a lot of different plays. But if you were buying, it didn't even matter if fair value or not fair value. You're just buying the dip at the open. You were buying the open on a lot of stocks yesterday morning. You got rewarded.
And right into yesterday or Tuesday's low. Yesterday was Tuesday. Right into Monday's low. Monday's low 59.93. The low yesterday 160 even. I mean, not only do you have it going into like a round number, but potential double bottom. So even if you're buying that opening print there at 160.10, giving yourself until it penetrates that low, and it didn't. 163.12. That was the all-time high. 162.91 was the close. We're trading up 62 cents. Keep an eye on the close. Now you are above that. So there's your support. All-time closing high in Apple, 162.91.
And, just looking at the other ones there too, NVDA, it bought, and obviously opened up near the lows. If you look at the open 162.59, did dip to 162.26, but that's all in the opening bracket. And then it takes off too, obviously closed there and got up over 165, trading up over 165 this morning. I mean, Amazon was the same story. That stock opened right near the lows and boom, it's up 16 points, closes, over 16 points from the lows of the day, which is another impressive move too. It was in multiple stocks. And then you had, it's a funny market because, you have, all the worries with the missile and, they just buy into that. And then you have this, Best Buy report, which was pretty darn good. We even talked about it on the show, but I was saying it was leaking and I thought it was going to go red and it did. I didn't think it was going to go red that much. Went down $7. So here's a stock that in the pre-market, and what was the pre-market high? I actually wrote it down. Pre-market high yesterday on that pretty good numbers was $67.99. So it was up almost $6. Gave it all back in the pre-market. Didn't even think about opening there. It actually opened up. It opened down and opened down way down. I'm talking way down at 58.17. Anybody who bought that open got punished because it just continued to leak. Got all the way down to 54.75. So here's a stock that had a tidy 14-point range. This is a Best Buy. This is a major departments or the major retail store here, stores all over the place. This isn't a little like penny stock that chops around. It had over, 14 on $55 stock. You're talking about like a 25% range from the pre-market down to the low of yesterday. That's incredible.
And this is one of those times where it pays to pay attention to what is said on the conference call, which obviously can't always do that. These calls can go on for a while. Can't always listen to them, but this was a case where something notable was said on the call. The CEO actually unprompted, which is even more rare. Usually, when you do see some comments on a call, it's usually in response to an analyst's question. This came before the Q&A portion, unprompted. The CEO said that they're amazing comps that they had. Right, they had comps of I forgot that. I'm looking for the exact. Oh yeah, Q2 enterprise comps up 5.4% year over year. Amazing comps, online comps up 31% year over year. That is not the new normal, is what he said. This is not the new normal. We don't expect that to be the new normal. So that's an honest take. But
and that's maybe a reason. But like I said, media will always find a reason. So was that a reason to sell the stock off, another 8 points yesterday?
probably
It
not.
just gets it's all about momentum. This market's all momentum. Media is always going to try to find, what is the fundamental catalyst for this? A lot of times there might be a little catalyst that kickstarts it, but the whole reason for the continued, it's just you've crushed people. Some people bought that open, saying, okay, well, this is ridiculous. This thing was trading up in the pre-market. It's going to come right back. These are great numbers. And they get run over. I mean, it's all about just punishing, like the maximum amount of short-term traders out there. And when the ball gets going in one direction, you just run people right over. And obviously not only that, you get momentum traders that come in there and say, okay, we got a hot one here. Let's get short in this thing because it's going straight down. This is the momentum market. When the momentum's going in one direction, it is very hard to fight the tape. So like I said, I'm still a contrarian investor, but as a contrarian trader, that is a very difficult gig in this market because when it goes going in one direction, it just keeps on going. I mean, Juno is the best example of this.
Oh, man.
We'll get to that in a second. Joel, give us a breakdown of Best Buy, and then we'll talk Juno. Like, Juno's an incredible move.
I mean, you got to listen to Benzinga's pre-market prep show here because we started watching this thing. The show began at 8, and it already started to leak. And I tried to give some potential. Best Buy tried to give some potential support levels, which weren't very good. And there was just no let up here. This is how you came into the 9:30 bell. So if anything, you'd be like, man, if I'm buying this thing, I'm fighting a major trend. Boom, took it out. 54.75 is the low. I don't think we're done here on the downside. We're trading up 34 cents here at 55.36. I think you got some work to do in the lower 53s here. You have multiple.
That would be a nice level.
Yep.
If it got there.
Yep. And then all the way down to the gap fill from the last report at 52.12. So there's your area. I mean, if I'm looking for a long or trying to cover a short, I'm going to wait for something between 52 and 53 because there's a lot of people that are waking up today looking at that report and saying, wait, what happened?
Yeah. It doesn't go up on a report like that. So why is it going to go up now? I completely agree with you here, Joel. You know how I like my 2-day move. I think this thing has room to 53 as well. So it's getting a little popular this morning. It's up, a little relief rally. People come in BTFDing in this. I think they're BTFDing in the wrong stock. Just my opinion. Maybe it can bounce here a little bit, but I think it could go to 53 too. So I like that 53 level. I like it a lot better than 55. So I think if you're 55, I think you might be early. I think 53 might be a level that we could touch here in the next day or two. So agree with you, Joel. Look, we're on the same side.
There we go. Now you know it's going to 50. Now you know it's going to 58 today.
But let's
Juno.
talk about this Juno move. Oh. I mean, come on. Okay, so here is, Kite gets taken over by Amgen. So we say, we're talking of sympathy plays on the show, on the pre-market show on Monday morning. And we're like, okay, well, Juno is, one of the pure plays. So it's going to be up. So it gets a 5-point pop. And I'm like, that's a little bit, excessive, I felt. But anyways, I'm not going to there shorting. I'm just saying, I think it's priced in the sympathy move. I mean, you're moving up here 15%, and the leader, got taken over for 30. I mean, what's your best case scenario here? Well, we had a couple upgrades yesterday. The thing opened at the lows. It ran another almost $10. I'm like, holy cow. This just goes to show you when the ball gets going in one direction, don't fight it. Holy cow. If you were saying, well, this is excessive, which I was saying, but actually then shorted it, man, you were getting crushed here because this thing just took off like a bat out of hell. I mean, it was trading 46 last night after hours. Like once this thing, and this is a little bit of a squeeze here now too. You have 15% short interest on the thing. And it's, just the ball's going in one direction. They come in, call it, your momentum traders, your bots, whatever you want to call it, but it's all momentum. And this market is all momentum. And that thing just blasted off into orbit again yesterday. Hard to fight the momentum. Eventually they do turn. And when they turn, if you can get it early, there's good momentum to go down the other way. But, it's hard to say it's going to turn after 2 days. I mean, it's up 50% now on a takeover, and the leader, Kite, are going to take it over for only a 30% premium. So fundamentally, I don't know how you justify it, but technically, don't fight the tape.
And the thing is, too, is that you could tell that this was just machine driven because even in we were having a down opening, right? So the thing didn't open up that much. But, I talk a lot about the opens. We talk about the closing print. Goes out at 36.48, right? 36.61 open. And then it stops 2 ticks above the close, so the shorts, you're thinking maybe they didn't cover yesterday. Like, okay, this thing, take out the close, going to go red on the session. Nope. The bots come in here, big volume the last 2 days, and then it was just straight up. I'm not going to try.
Look how fast it was,
Let me go
Joel. I mean, these moves are violent. And everybody, it's long the thing is like, what are you talking about? Violent move? It was straight up. Well, it can be violent if you're short it, and it can be violent. It's just a violent move. I mean, this went up 6 points in 30 minutes. This went up from 36 to 42. Look at the trading range over the course of the last, take out your weekly charts and look at the trading range over the course of the last 4 months. This thing has been in a 6-point trading range for 2.5 months. It went up 6 points in 30 minutes yesterday on speculation that somebody might come and acquire it. It's crazy. This is a crazy market on individual stocks. When it gets going, like, I don't know if it's lack of liquidity or it's just all the traders trading the same stuff and they all hop on board and push it. But I'll tell you, if you're on the wrong side of these moves, there are some violent moves out here. If you're on the right side of them, they feel great. You're on the wrong side, ooh, not good.
Yeah.
Juno, we're talking, Fuzzy. Juno.
Yeah, Juno Therapeutics. So we'll have to keep an eye on. I'm not even going to put this on my screen today because I just don't want to be tempted to short it. So I'm just going to put
you can't. You know what? That's one thing I've learned here the hard way. And I'll tell you, over my career of 18 years professionally trading, I have made the majority of my money on the short side. The majority of it, like the financial crisis, and even just regular trading, because stocks go down a lot faster than they go up. But in this market, I'll tell you, this is completely different in the last 3 or 4 years. It is, and I would say I'm not making the majority of my money on the short side anymore. Probably making on the long side. It's a one-sided, overall market, and it seems like. And there is obviously opportunities on the short side in individual stocks, individual sectors, like we've said. But overall, BTFD continues to win. And the moves can be really violent sometimes too, and they can be great if you're on the right side of them too. So it's a tough market to short stocks.
Yep, S&P futures hanging around unchanged, just hanging out, 47.50, close at 47 even, just hanging out near that pre-market low. So we did have a few earnings reports after the close. Should we get to those here at 8:18?
Yeah, we can talk about a few of them. So we got a few disasters here today too, but let's just go to our first one here. Well, let's go to one of the disasters here. It's DICOM, DY. This thing's down 20% here this morning. I mean, this is ugly here. Spencer, give us the details. DY.
$1.47 versus $1.44 for the Q4 EPS. Sales of $780 million versus $798 million estimate. So they beat on the EPS, but they missed badly on the sales. As far as Q1 guidance go, that comes in lower than the estimate. Estimate was $784 million in sales. But they actually come out and said it'd be closer to 715 to 745 million. So they missed the estimate by about $40 million. EPS coming in well lower. $1.43 was the estimate. 81 to 96 cents is what they said.
Complete repricing, because you're talking about only making 2/3 of what they thought they were gonna. And they're like, okay, well, what we're going to do here then is knock 20% off your price right away. I mean, when you miss and you lower guidance in this market, there is no mercy. And this stock was obviously drifting down, so trend was already not your friend. Even though in the last 3 days it ran up into the report, the overall trend on this is definitely down. $110 back in May. They must have warned or did something back then when it fell to 90. Well, here's a instant replay of what happened in May, only a little bit worse. We go from 82.10 the close down to $66 here in the pre-market. It's down 19%. It's an ugly chart. I was looking at some support at 70. You can forget about that. That was back on October of 2016. We took out those levels. Joel, do you have anything for us anywhere in the vicinity of $66?
Now, I just want to make a note here that this kind of chart is really it's going to inflict pain on people, because everyone is a bottom picker. You made that low just above 74 a couple days ago. You get 5 out of 6 green candles. This is it. I got it out here under $75, and then kaplooey, here you are with a bad report. I mean, I might say
you almost can't, if you're trading something technically, and JC talks about this too. If you're trading it technically, you can't hold it through a report.
No way.
Because it's just technicals don't matter. I'll tell you, technicals matter after the report. Technicals matter before the report. But on that news, when they lower guidance, I don't care how pretty the chart is, stock's going down. So if you're just trading something pure technically, don't hold it through the report. because that's a crap. It's just a crapshoot.
You didn't even know. Yeah, look how they reacted to the Best Buy report.
Yeah, no, you could have had the Best Buy report. Like, let's say you were an insider on Best Buy. You'd have been like thinking this thing's going to $70 and it's gonna take off. This is a good report, and I'm gonna make a lot. You could have bought a whole bunch of stock, got killed. The insiders even got killed in Best Buy if there was insiders.
Nick mentions that too about. And by the way, excellent call by Nick yesterday.
What was on that one? Which one?
Well, I mean, he was just sticking with his thesis on the market. That these dips have been bought. This is a big dip, and he stuck with his philosophy. We're too close to that 64.44 level for me to say that the low's in for the day. If I was short, I would be probably covering it like 70 after it already went. Well, you didn't even get a chance. It went 72, 71, and then plop. But under 64.44, if you're going to twist my arm to find a number, your April of 2016 low was 62.86. So I'd put a 63 bid out there if I absolutely had to cover a short in it. That's the only day level. And then below that is 55.10, but we're absolutely not going to, well, can't guarantee it, but double bottom at the low, 64.44. Coming back on the upside, you haven't traded over 67 since making that low. So someone's trying to keep it under 67. Under 67, it can go absolutely anywhere. Over 67.
Talking about buying the dip, they're buying the dip again here in dry ships too. So, okay, DRYS last night's was announced a rights offering. 275 is the price on it. Stock immediately dips down to the low threes. It's bouncing here already. We talked about this one yesterday on the show.
You did. This is your call.
We've been doing pretty good. I was bullish. I never bullish dry ships. Even Ace was saying, "Oh, bullish dry ships is out of the blue." Blasted off. Went up 15% yesterday from the lows, from like $3 up to 345. So I wish I would have bought it, but I still hate dry ships, so I didn't play it, even though I liked the setup here. Pulling back is one of its rights offering. I think the buy the dippers come in here. I think the stock can end up being higher here again. So still bullish dry ships, still like my 2-day move on this, even though despite the rights offering, which I think was somewhat expected because they were talking already on this 275 deal. I think this stock can end up, seeing the higher threes here in the next little bit. I like dry ships here.
All right. You popped to 357, now hanging out at 331. I mean, you have your support. I can't believe we're actually giving technicals. I mean, this is the only chart, Dennis, where I can't bring up a daily chart. Oh, I got a new all-time high here. Oh, this one's only 800,000, but
that's wrong. It's like 800 billion, isn't it?
Let me go to the monthly. Oh, I did this yesterday when I was putting something together. Should be an article out on this later today. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't know, $1,486 million.
Is it $1 billion? That's the high now, $1 billion a share.
Yeah. Get your.
So it's going back to those highs. It's got to be worth over $1 billion. All right. Anyways, can't even talk about dry ships. But you know what? I'll tell you on the charts here, dry ships is okay right now. Stays above 275. Bulls are in control, believe it or not. That's the first time we've said it. We got Kenny Glick coming on the show too, and he's always, it's gonna be interesting to see what he says on dry ships because he's a dry ships hater too, and he's always been. He's probably gonna stick with his hate now. And you know what? Long term, still hate dry ships as well. If Kenny's listening, and we're gonna get him in 10 minutes. But short term here, I think there's a trade. I think there's a trade to the upside.
All right, earnings. We Herb, the old oldie discount. They had earnings after the close.
You're the only one that knows that, by the way.
Really? You think so?
You just have because you worked for Oldie. So you got that connection to Oldie.
All right. What do we got?
H&R Block down 5%. Spencer, details.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. I typed in the wrong ticker. I typed in actually the word herb. Anyway.
Excuses. Give us the numbers.
Okay. Yesterday after the bell, H&R Block Q1 EPS of a 62-cent loss. That's in line with the estimate. Sales of 137.8 million versus 129 million. So they beat the sales number, but 62-cent loss, is what it is.
They hit it.
And we are trading down. Yeah.
I like $27. That fills the gap from the last earnings report. Pre-market low 27.26, and that's where you gapped up. So it looks like
Trend's not your friend on this one though anymore.
No,
Trend was your friend. I think it's a broken trend, so that scares me a bit.
And
it depends, I guess, on how it does today, and if it can get back up over it. But I'm scared of the trend now.
I'll say also revisionist history here. If you like over the weekends, I like to look at some longer term frame charts. And if I would have been looking at this one, I would have noticed that the June high 31.61, the July high 31.70, the August high 31.80. So, you could say, hey, you can't put much emphasis on a daily double bottom or triple bottom, but a monthly, that shows you, that gives you an an indication that institution is working stock out. Maybe their target was 32 and they were trying to wiggle out above that. But now 27, that's your gap fill. And man, and if it doesn't hold 27, your low 26.49. That was the low on the day before the last earnings report. That was your June 13 low.
Analog Devices, ADI, getting a lift here on their numbers. Spencer, details.
ADI Q3 EPS $1.26. That's an 11-cent beat. $1.15 was the estimate. Sales of $1.46 billion versus $1.4 billion, so a good net sales number as well. Their Q4 sales guidance coming in higher than the estimate. $1.45 billion was the estimate. $1.45 to $1.55 billion is the projected range for Q4 sales, and Q4 EPS coming in higher as well. $1.24 was the estimate. $1.29 to $1.43 is what they're seeing.
This has been a sleepy stock here for a long time. We've been between 76 and 82 bucks for the better part of the last 2 months and really consolidating here. Now we look like we're trying to breach, trying to get above that 82 level there. We need to get above that in the regular session though too. So I'll say 82 is still resistance until it's broken in the regular session. We can get up over 82, you're in breakout mode. And I guess you could argue that 82.98 high too, so maybe call it 83. But really what jumps out at me is 82. And that's still the upper end here. We're still, digesting the earnings report here. It's only trading 90,000 shares. The spread is very wide. I think that's a consideration here if I'm trading it. I want to see it above 82 in the regular session if I'm going along it, because we know sometimes these reports can fade, although the numbers look pretty good.
Help me get a lunch back. Well, now you're going to say, oh, you're going against me. I was going to say
What are you doing? What are you on?
High of the day's in.
What's the high?
84.53.
No, I got 84.50. The high of the day is almost always in right on the initial number. There's no liquidity, and somebody gets excited either up or down. How many times do you think there's a higher or low of the day made in that opening bracket right after the number?
Oh,
got to be all like half the time.
Or, another thing too, just going back to, and I think I might have an article or someone doing an article on this about the extremes. Remember when Facebook had their report? Right. That wasn't right in the opening bracket. You see that high on earnings day there, 175.49. They've done nothing but sell the stock. Had some intermediate rallies. I think that thing hit 179 in the pre-market that day. I think it traded $3.50 higher. So good prices. And you almost got a gap fill here into Facebook, Dennis. Are you looking you look at that 166 here. We came all the way back to where we were. Well, that was yesterday. You would have had to been quick on the gap fill. The high from that day in Facebook. This is a nice gap fill.
How do we get to Facebook?
Earnings out.
You took us on a tangent here, Joel.
Okay, reel me in. Reel me.
That's fine. I'm fine. I'm just curious how we got there.
Extreme moves in the after hours in pre-market.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yes, levels never being seen, Dennis.
He took us there on the levels.
Yes, right. I could always do that.
That's all good. It's all good. Just getting under your skin there, trying to a little bit there.
That's what Jason wants you to do. Did he give you a raise to do that, to start picking on me or something?
I know he did, actually. What you want to talk about the disaster stock of the day? Because it's not Dicom.
What is it?
OTIC. Check this one out. Down a cool 80%. We closed at $20.80. We're trading $4 right now. Cool $4. Four even. Tick size pilot, so it only trades in nickels. That's annoying as hell. 2080 to close. They must have said the worst thing they ever could have said. Spencer, what did they say to knock the price down 80% this morning? It must be like their drugs are never going to cure anybody.
I believe it was Spinner who brought this up on the chat a few minutes ago. So they phase 3 trial for a drug missed the primary endpoint. The drug in question is Otividex. So they missed the endpoint. Then they said they're immediately suspending all development activities for said drug. They're undertaking a review of its product pipeline plans and commercial efforts. And the whole thing is on pause.
That sounds bad.
How can you...
What makes you think that? Stock down 80%.
Is it still
It
halted
was
or
a
is
cool
it trading?
$630 million stock yesterday, but now you got to knock 80% off that price, so
it was
it's worth like
halted.
$100 million.
It was halted. It's resumed.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
resumed now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's resumed. It's resumed at 405. It's trading actually 405, 410. Joel, I don't know, can you give us levels, or how do you even analyze something like this? As a new all-time lows, it goes from being in the middle of its all-time range to new all-time lows by a landslide here. What do you got for me?
385, that's your pre-market low. Not much of a bounce here. I mean,
suspending all like development of this. I don't know if they have other drugs cooking or not, but man, none of that sounds.
They're close.
None of that sounds like I want to jump in and buy this thing right now.
Man, oh man, 21.15 was high. I think it has to rally at some point. I just don't know what level it's going to rally from because
$1 or $2 or $3. Maybe this is the point, but you know what? I've tried to buy some of these one-trick pony stocks when they've fallen 80%, and I've always lost money on them. So, I bought TTPH when it fell. If you go back and look at this one here, it fell from like $42 down to like single digits. I bought that. That didn't work out. I've done it multiple times, and I've almost even as a long-term investment, just throwing it in your portfolio, saying, "Hey, come on, it's $40 yesterday. It's now $7. It's going to come back somewhat." These things a lot of times don't come back very quickly, or they don't come back at all.
One that did, Clovis. Did you buy that?
That would have been a run to do. CLVS. You are correct, Joel.
You didn't do that one though, right?
No, of course not. Yeah, Juno would have been one to do too, but anyways, this is a disaster. So I don't know what else to say about it. All I can say is if you think the thing comes right back, they usually don't.
Okay.
They usually have a bounce somewhere in there, but I think it's a pipe dream to think about this back at $20.
All right, 8:33 here in a few seconds. So imbalances. I bet you they're not much here. The SPOO's unchanged.
Pretty small. We do have a few. Okay, so let's just talk here. Alibaba, the buy and bounce back. 64,000 shares to buy. Alibaba is trading up. Our Square guy is still there. SQ 42,000 to buy. Like I said, seems like every single morning Square has a buy and balance there. It's not as big as it normally is, but it's still yesterday. It actually Square had a huge buy and balance. I believe it almost opened up. Despite that tape, I think we opened right near settlement there, SQ. So it was an impressive move. Impressive open for yesterday. It actually held on quite well too. Square was one of the resilient stocks there all day yesterday. Bank of America, 116,000 to buy. Let's go look at the Snap. The Snapper is only 7,700 to sell. So Snap, SNAP, small sell on balance. Twitter, 17,000 to sell. Home Depot, 22,000 to buy. They're all pretty small.
All right, this Snap is really finding problems here at $15. It got up there yesterday. It looked like it was going to break out, but listen to the 4 out of the last 5 highs here: 15.13, 34, 15.26, and 15.31. So if you do not clear that area in the next day or so, we could be going right back down here. And then there was one other stock that you mentioned. Oh, just real quickly, the Bank of America news. Warren locked in a profit. Do we have that information at all?
He converted. He didn't even lock in. He converted those. So those were warrants those were, I believe, the warrants that he bought back in the financial crisis when Bank of America was going down in trouble. It's down like $6. He got the rights to purchase the stock way below market value. And obviously exercised that here last night. It was announced. Spencer, you get the actual numbers for that?
Let me look real quickly. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
That was like 700 million or something worth, or 700 million shares. Not $700 million. 700 million shares, I believe, which makes him all of a sudden one of the biggest shareholders of Bank of America.
$11.5 billion is now his investment.
11.5 billion now in Bank of America. So, we knew this was going to happen because he had those, you're going to let them expire. You eventually got to exercise them. So you basically already had exposure to it. But anyways, congrats, Warren Buffett. You were all over this in the financial crisis. This and what was the other big stock that he bought in the financial crisis? Remember he made 2 huge purchases?
Actually,
Goldman. Wasn't it Goldman?
Yeah. And also GE.
GE too, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
He was right on all those. I mean, GE got down to like $5 or $6 too in the financial crisis. We can dog GE all you want, but in the financial crisis, if you're buying it, you're still up like 500%.
Yeah, boy, that thing drifting towards $24. All right, are we going to take a break for Kenny?
We are going to take a quick break and grab Kenny Glick, owner of Hit the Bid Radio. HitTheBid.com is his site. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by Benzinga Pro. I'm your co-host, Joel Elkanah, along with Dennis Dick and Spencer Israel, working the boards. We have a special guest on the line. That's Kenny Glick. He's the owner and creator of HitTheBid.com, and Dennis and I can both attest to this. Not only is he one of the funniest guys on Wall Street, but he might be one of the funniest guys I know, just overall. Kenny, how you doing?
All right. What's going on? Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah, you sound a little tired. Did you kind of overwork yourself? You went on vacation, right? Didn't you, earlier in the month?
My man, I am still on vacation. This is
I knew it.
The earliest I've been awake in about 2 weeks. For you.
Where are you on vacation?
We took a 10-day cruise. We hit a bunch of islands, with the family. It was a lot of fun. All on the back of our selling of the QQQ and the diamonds. Yeah, man, it's been a fun time.
Yeah, okay. Not too much family time though, right?
No, I went out. I have to dance. These young folks never seen a 45-year-old white boy who can dance the way I do. So
actually, if you folks could have been out at the Traders Expo, you could have seen both Kenny and Dennis grooving on the dance floor. I don't know. I mean, I ended up leaving, which was a good move by me. But Kenny, let's get to the markets here. And you always have a philosophy, what was your target on the Dow? Have you adjusted it? Is it 23,682.43?
Yeah, I think it was for March, third week of March. Yeah, so kind of right on schedule. But what was more exciting for people that have known me for the last 15 or 17 years is that odd things happen to me when I go away for more than seven or 8 days. So I predicted on August, first of all, on January 1st, I said I'll probably be looking for this market to rally right to August 16th. And that's when I will take my money and run. August 16th, great day to sell because I was leaving on the 17th. We've had one of our biggest down days on the 17th. And obviously not to make light of the, flooding in Houston, there has been a number of natural catastrophes when I go away on vacation. It's not actually funny anymore. I think somehow the universe now revolves around me. We've had icebergs, and there was a volcano in Iceland once. There was a tsunami. Now we've got flooding in Houston. We've had locusts. I don't know what's going on. So, but I've been in cash since the 16th. The only thing I'm holding on to is basically the Alibaba because I still think this thing's going to $500, and obviously not by next week, but. I think last time I was on the show, I was talking to guys how I used to hate Alibaba, but I became a huge fan. And still in this thing from $92. The 120 break was fantastic, and I'm still liking this thing. I'm not day trading it any longer because anytime it gaps up, it usually reverses and tries to shake people out in the morning and then rallies at the end of the day. Really, that's all that matters when you own a stock is what they do at the end of the day. But I think this thing's going to 250 easy, and this thing goes to 250. I got $500 target on it for the next 6-7 years from now.
$500. That's a huge
That's
target.
right.
Nice,
you heard it
Kenny.
here first.
You got to get out there. What about the AMD? That was another one. Are you still sticking with the AMD, or are you done with the AMD?
No, I finally dumped it after many, many, many years. Once it had that gap up and everybody was patenting shit. I mean, if you read the StockTwits feed that morning, my God, it seemed like people must have retired. I was like, what's everybody getting over 15 about? I was like, it's up 80 cents. I was like, sure, it could go higher, but if it reverses and can't hold 14.35, I'm a seller, and let me know when it hits 10.50 again. So round and round we go. I mean, I still like the stock, but if it gets back down at 10.50, I'll be a buyer again. But right now, I heard you guys talking about buying the dip. You come in, we got politics. I know it doesn't really influence the market too much, but with the chaos in Wall Street, I guess you could use that word, chaos in Washington and natural catastrophes and North Korea, and you went to sleep and you woke up and you're thinking this market's going to open up down 1,000 points. And next thing you know, we're green yesterday. There's just no way we're going down. It's going to take Godzilla coming out of the Hudson or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Nuclear nuclear clouds going around the globe with the Fukushima. Nobody cares about anything. It's incredible.
Kenny, it's what we were just saying right off the hop on the show here today. I mean, and we were actually talking before the show started, me and Joel, and I was like, they shrugged this missile stuff off in one day. It's going to take them blowing up a city. And I think not only that, like they're going to blow up a city and then they're going to sell it off on that. They'll probably come in and buy it and say, well, now they have to rebuild the city. So that's going to be good for the economy. I mean, this market's that bullish.
That's my joke. Sorry, you stole my joke.
Did I steal your joke?
Yes, exactly. Right. You'd have to buy you'd buy defense stocks and Home Depot and Lowe's and U.S. Steel, and we'd have a reconstruction rally. Of course, yeah. USA rally,
so
you can't push us around rally.
We're going to rally anyways.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
If you're short?
Reconstruction rally. It's unbelievable. I mean, and the crazy thing about this market, again, if you pick 10 stocks right now, you still got about 75% chance that 8 of those 10 of the stocks won't be, good 2 weeks from now, but the market won't be down. That's the miracle of this market. It's very difficult because there's just a handful of stocks and that are, strong, and then they get weak, and then you just got to find the next 10. I mean, round and round we go. But I'm hearing good things about the shipping company out of Greece. Fantastic things. I know a lot of terrific people. A lot of people live in Greece. They do a lot of shipping. A lot of people don't know this, but boats are in Greece, and it's fantastic. I know a lot of people about it. No, but it's a crazy market. The only thing I'm looking at right today was just to reverse everybody's good feeling about gold. And these are the only time I trade these JDSTs and dust stocks. But when everybody gets all giddy about the end of the world, which is crazy to think about, the UVXY players and the gold players, they usually get punched in the face within a day or so, and they're already getting punched this morning with the JNUG being down and your gold going back down, and UVXY is already back under 31. So it's been the same stuff. I just look at the same stocks always over and over again, and I love my Alibaba, and I'll probably buy the diamonds and the Qs back if we ever get a significant dip. But for now, I'm liquid and I'm loving it.
Why you like the Alibaba so much? I mean, Dennis and I were talking about it. I mean, a couple weeks ago, they came out a month or so ago and basically said, we're going to make 50% more money. And then, if you weren't a bull then and didn't buy the stock, was that it? Or you said you've been in since 90. Why do you like it so much?
Well, I figured it was coming. It was late to the party. I was insulted when this IPO first came out. Long story short, when I was in the Apple store looking to buy some cables, they were $30 cable. And one of the little geniuses with his T-shirt comes up to me and says, you go to Alibaba and get that same cable for $4. And if you want to get yourself your wife a fake Gucci handbag, you can do that there also. I was like, listen, kid, I appreciate the $3 wire tip, but if I was to buy my wife a fake Gucci bag, she'd sniff that out in 2 seconds. I'd be divorced. But I appreciate the help. So next thing I know, this company Alibaba is going public, and everyone's making this big deal about it. And I'm like, wait a second, this is the company that's going to be the biggest IPO in the world. They sell fake handbags and wires on the internet. So I thought it was a joke, and I was a shorter. And when I was getting crushed, I was loving it. When it couldn't break over that 120, broke 100, all the way back down to I think it went to 75 even. But then a good trader knows when you realize the mistake you're making, the best thing to do is join the winning side. So once the thing got back over 90, I figured, hey, this is got a shot to go to 120. And then they're more than a company that sells fake handbags and cheap wires. Plus, my whole thesis of this entire bull market, how it's been government owned, and the reason I loved Baidu when we were coming out of the Great Depression of 2010 and 2009 was that we owed this money to China supposedly. So I figured that the governments of the United States and the governments of China are in cahoots. They'll probably take one of their popular stocks and run this thing forever to make some of their money back. So my same bizarre thesis was, you know what? They're probably going to do the same thing with Alibaba. They're probably in bed with Jack Ma, the Chinese government, to pay back some of the debt that we owe. And maybe they'll run this thing to 250. So far, so good. And again, it's more than a company. It's not just the Amazon of China. They're doing a lot more than just that. And I think it's just owning a conglomerate of a country that, is highly manipulated. And I want to enjoy the manipulation. I think they bring this thing to 250 easy.
All right.
So for me, it's more, it's more my bizarre thesis and the technical analysis, obviously. And also, you guys have been trading with so long that stocks, when they break 120, they go to 150. And generally, when they go to 150, they go to 200. And if they get through the 200s, somehow they get to 250. And if they go to 250, you've seen it, they go to 500. And it's really what it comes down to.
All right, I got to ask you about a stock that you were talking about, I think maybe last time we were on the show or the time before, Community Health Systems. This thing got done under $5. And I know you were bottom fishing on that. You're like, you're just going to keep buying and you're going to look at it in a couple of years. Well, it went from 415, that was a monthly low, to 10. Now back at the 750 area. Is this something that you lightened up on, or is this just one in your portfolio that you're forgetting about?
No, it was a quadruple top there. Once it couldn't break that 1020, 1020, 1020, it fooled me one more time. You know, it got to that over that 10. So this time, instead of buying more with an anticipation of it getting to that 1050 again, I decided to get out. And once they had that catastrophe, I sold the rest. I think the last prints were, in the 8s. But you know what? We had a great trade on it a couple of weeks ago. This is one of my last trades before I went away, where there was just, you could see everybody just trying to get in its way that afternoon. And they ran this thing from all the way to about 8:05. So that day wiped out any loss I took on those last shares. And it's been a fantastic little trading stock, but I don't own it anymore. And like, I'm for the first time, I got to say,
all right, Kenny, you must be somewhere on the boat where we're losing you a little bit, or I don't know if we're losing the feed on the show here, but Kenny, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. And boy, we enjoy every time we have you on the show. It's been too long. Kenny Glick, owner and creator of hitthebid.com. And as I said at the top, not one of the funniest guys on Wall Street, but one of the funniest guys I know. I keep telling my wife about your jokes. We maybe get you out for a Michigan football game this year, Kenny, and have you in studio for a show. How's that sound?
That would be great. I'm going to be somewhere in the vicinity. I know you're probably going to hate this, but I'm probably going to go to be Notre Dame game on October 26th against Southern Cal, I think it is, or it's US, something like that. Yeah, I think it's the Notre Dame USC game. So not that it's near you, but you guys probably don't like Notre Dame.
No. I won't sing my Notre Dame song, but all right, we'll let you go and grab a Bloody Mary there on your cruise, and we'll speak to you again soon.
All right, guys, thanks for having me on. Good luck, and I'll speak to you soon. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
And folks, I'm not joking. Kenny and Dennis were grooving. And on the dance floor.
You don't want to copy my dance moves, Joel.
No, I don't. And I couldn't dance because I was just laughing so hard. And I think Cole was there too. He ended up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fun at the Traders Expo. Well, we got some problems here in the S&P, Dennis.
Trump tweet.
Really?
Oh, yeah, just 2 minutes ago. That's why we're selling off here. So Trump tweets out, the U.S. has been talking to North Korea and paying them extortion money for 25 years. Talking is not the answer. Sounds aggressive. That's an aggressive tweet. So obviously that is what is hitting the S&P futures. I would not be surprised if that even helps your defense stocks once again here, because it looks like he's ready to put up a fight here, Donald Trump. That's an aggressive tweet. I'm actually surprised we didn't sell off harder on that. But still getting into the market here too. But again, we're in the BTFD market, so they'll probably come right back in. But anyways, that's an aggressive tweet.
Wow, that is a very aggressive tweet here. So let's see. Wednesday AM earnings. Dennis, your favorite restaurant, Bob Evans down on the farm. Are they out yet?
Is Bob Evans due today?
They were after the bell, I thought.
Oh,
no. They might be this morning. I think they were this morning.
It's bid up.
Yeah,
you're right. I didn't even realize Bob Evans. I missed that on my list. That is one of my favorite restaurants. It's actually pretty good food, but it's just terrible for you. But anyways, Bob Evans, give us details.
It is really bad. 37-cent EPS is in line with the estimate sales of $109 million versus $102 million. So nice beat on that. They are also raising their outlook for the fiscal year The sales outlook was increased, and the EPS outlook was also increased.
Bob Evans has not traded here this morning, but I can tell you it is bid up here. So they're liking this report here. It's funny. You can look at the trades and say, oh, we don't know if they like it or they hate it. It's bid 65.50.
Wow.
Nobody's hitting that bid. Nobody's hitting that bid, Joel. So that's telling you that, hey, nobody's got, nobody's obviously got the guts to hit that bid. Best offer is way up at 70. So this is looking higher.
What about putting an offer out at 66.19, Dennis?
I'll probably get lifted. Why would I do that?
I don't know. It's the 4-day high.
I would say that's just a crazy number to throw it out at, because if you're doing stuff like that, Joel, that is, here you are in the price discovery phase, and you're going to throw an offer out when it's 6 points higher the offer, and offer 50 cents above the bid.
All right.
I'd say I'd probably, if you put that 66.19 offer out there, I bet you get lifted in like 2 seconds.
Okay, put it out there and we'll see. We'll go.
I'm not doing it. I don't want to lose 4 points.
We'll go at lunch. We're gonna go. It's not going. All right. How about 60 cents?
I think it's going higher than 66.19 today. What's the numbers? Give us the numbers again, Spencer, because we're full on try to call this one. We look like we got a bet going. What are the numbers here
for Bob Evans? Oh, you want the guidance number?
Give me the whole. Yeah, the guidance. What I really want.
Okay. Okay. So the original sales outlook for the fiscal year was $470 million. Now it's $474 to $486 million. That's still higher than the estimate. The original EPS outlook for the fiscal year was $2.06 to $2.24. So they upped that to $2.10 to $2.30. So
it's not a huge. It's not
a huge increase, but it is an increase.
Yeah. Okay, no bet here. It's just too much of a gamble here right now. I like to take Joel and short things.
67.
I like the 68 level better. Like you're taking one number. Look at all those highs at 68.
Okay, I do see. I see that.
I like that level a lot better. Now, not saying, I'd say I'd have more nerve to short it up at 68 than I would at 66.
Okay.
So I'm not saying buy it at 66 and hope it goes to 68. I'm saying it gets to 68. I think it struggles a lot more at 68 than it would at 66.
All right. Double top 67.44 to 74. Split that 67.59. Dennis, it will not trade above 67.59 today.
No, I'm not good for that.
Can't get him. He's too good here.
That's a lot higher here. He's trying to get me when I'm sleeping this morning. I had a rough day yesterday with the flood. So
Vera Bradley.
You should be helping me today. I had a rough day.
Sorry. Vera Bradley.
All right. You're not sorry. That's the bottom line. Okay. So, we've had a little sell off here. I want to give an imbalance update once again because they've gotten bigger. Bob, 157,000 to buy. Twitter, 62,000 to sell. Square SQ's gotten bigger, 83,000 to buy. General Electric, our guy, is back again. 166,000 to sell. There's been some institutions selling this every single morning for a month. They probably know something, or they probably just don't like the fact trend is not your friend, and they know they're in a trendy market. So they've been listening to the pre-market show and the pre-market prep show. JP Morgan, 30,000 to sell. Morgan Stanley, 68,000 to sell. But I'll say this, financials look actually a little bit stronger here this morning. Out of all the stocks that I'm looking at here, you kind of a wishy-washy day when you're trading down a point here. I would say financials are actually looking quite strong. Bank of America trading up 1%. We know that's on the back of Warren Buffett. But Goldman's trading up, Wells Fargo's trading up. They're up a little bit. So financials are looking a little bit stronger than the overall market here.
You want a big number?
Sell. What else you got? What else you want?
I got a big number. A number of the day, the week, the month, and the year. And
what?
$90. JP Morgan. Look at that.
You like that JP Morgan?
If it holds, it's all about $90.
You're right.
Look at that, man. Couple months just hanging above there. That's moving up on my screen here. Where's my JP Morgan under ExxonMobil? Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that one because $90. That's the major level in that. And we did get a good retail report out of Vera Bradley. I did buy Lisa a bag there once, Vera Bradley. You got the numbers on that?
Yes, I do. VRA reported Q2 adjusted EPS of 13 cents versus a 10-cent estimate. Sales of $112 versus $111 million. Q3 EPS coming in lower than the estimate. Q3 sales coming in lower as well. Fiscal year 18 sales coming in line. Fiscal year 18 EPS coming in line.
Whew. 1160 pop.
It's a nice lift. This is another example of just a retail. It's been beat up hard. And, we saw some of these rally. So we've seen some of them, actually, the ones that weren't a disaster actually get a lift just because they've been beat up too much. I think Kramer was even saying that last night on his show. They had a little list of stocks that, the earnings weren't great, but they were good enough. And, you see that sometimes happen. And this is, good enough report here. Stock get a nice lift just because it's been beat up.
The number of the day at Vera Bradley is 1156. That was your high back in February of this year. Pre-market high 1160, and you got a little bit of a slow leak going on. So keep an eye on that one. And I don't know who was asking about Hain yesterday, Hain. Dennis, did you see what they did to that thing off a good report? It went up to 48.73 in the pre-market. And I know
we talked about this having overhead supply, even when it was at 44. I think if we rewind the tape, I believe I was saying, I don't even know what this at 44. I didn't like it. And I didn't think it was going to give it all back, but this is a violent market and it starts going one way and you're on the wrong side. Look out.
We didn't even touch any ratings today. Do we have anything that's
couple
worthwhile?
Sienna upgraded at Citi, so CIEN up at Citi. We got Cody downgrade to sell at Berenberg, COTY. What else did you see, Spencer? It was about 7 or 8.
What else did I see? You mentioned
anything else jumping out at you?
You mentioned Sienna. You mentioned VNO. Renato got a downgrade at Stifel. That's really it. Nothing major.
The analysts are quiet in August. You always see this in August. Most of them on vacation. Once September comes around, they start to get active again. But August is typically just a quiet month period for, usually overall markets, if we don't have missiles getting launched. And, just the analysts, they're not there. They're taking vacations right now. Kenny Glick's on vacation, so the market's going to be so slow. Kenny's not out there moving the market. So.
All right. Dennis, tip of the day here. We're traded down now 350. We're 11 points off the high of the day. That was 54.25. That was a great area as he had several highs in that area. Any final words of wisdom here for hump day trading?
Tough day. That was a tough tweet, but it just seems like it doesn't matter. I mean, think about this. Think about this tweet. If you just think rationally about it, I mean, you just basically tweeted out, said, look, I'm willing to go to war here with North Korea. That's what that tweet means, in my opinion. I'll read it to you again. The U.S. has been talking to North Korea and paying them extortion money for 25 years. Talking is not the answer. What's the alternative to talking? It's called, doing something, taking some action.
Not talking.
Not talking. Okay, so you're saying not talking, just not speaking. Do you think that's what Trump meant by that? Not talking?
I don't know.
I think he meant fisticuffs. I think he meant that means going, basically, I'm not scared to go to war with North Korea is what I think that tweet meant. That is a scary tweet.
And the market
doesn't even go down that much on it.
Well, the day's not
it's just
over.
a tweet. Call me when something.
It's just a tweet from the president of the United States of America.
It's Twitter. Come on, call me when something actually happens.
I know. And that's why the media is going to justify when the market goes up here today. But I'll just say it's an incredible market.
Look,
incredibly resilient. If they would tweet that, if that comes out in the president of the United, imagine if Obama would have said, and it's because it's Trump and he says
it's
stuff
a different.
all the time,
It's a different where you can't compare the doesn't compare to the estimate. You can't compare. But I would say, Lockheed Martin tested 2 missiles today. That's actual. That's tangible. Right, tweet isn't tangible, so call me when something actually happens, and then maybe I'll join you on the boat out into the middle of the Pacific. But Atlantic. I want to get far away from North Korea.
I'm just saying it's a scary tweet.
It is,
and makes me nervous. It makes me think defense stocks. So It makes me think. We know Lockheed Martin has had an incredible run here. We know NOC, General Dynamics, all of them have been on pretty good tears. I think those stocks are still the stocks. I mean, this is just not going away, this North Korea stuff. And I think, the direct beneficiary are your defense stocks. I think Lockheed Martin, LMT, stocks near all-time highs. I think it's going to make new all-time highs here again. I like LMT.
All right. And Dennis, could you make a call to Ottawa and alert the Royal Mounted Police that we may need some backup here if we do go to war with North Korea?
We can send our horses in.
Yeah. S&P's on the low of the session, 42.75. I'm sorry?
Canada doesn't have any nukes.
Shouldn't you know that?
I don't know. I would highly. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, fine.
I don't. I guarantee you, we never used them. Probably won't.
Well, and if you did, you would apologize. But we'll leave it at that.
Apologize before.
Yeah, apologize before and after. Okay.
I'm sorry. That I. We're sorry before we do the action.
Right. Okay. On tomorrow's show, a couple of guests. We're going to have Arthur Hill on. He's a senior technical analyst at Stock Charts. Also, I think we're going to have someone in studio. Andrew Middlebrooks. He is a local money manager here in Michigan. So looking forward to our show tomorrow. As far as today's show, you can catch the whole thing again on the podcast. Benzinga PreMarket Prep is posted on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. Just search for Benzinga or PreMarket Prep on any of those sites. And also you can catch the show as it aired live. Just go to youtube.com/Benzinga TV. You can listen to the show as it aired. It's recorded live on YouTube. So you can do that as well. That's it for us today. Hope everyone has had a good morning. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll be back with you folks on Thursday.